There is a silent source of power that few recognize, but that has transformed kings, sages, and visionaries throughout the centuries. This source makes no noise, demands no attention, yet holds the master key that opens the vaults of true wealth. We're not talking about a new secret, but something hidden for centuries, revealed only to those who seek with a calm heart and an awakened mind. Napoleon Hill touched on this when he wrote, "Think and Grow Rich." Solomon lived it during a 40-year reign without wars. And now it is about to be decoded before you. But beware, what's coming will reprogram the mind of those who listen closely. Because the wealth you seek may be exactly where you never imagined to look, in peace. And not just any peace, the one that lights up thought, sharpens decisions, and attracts prosperity effortlessly. You're about to uncover a secret code, lost in time, that reveals how inner peace not only precedes success, but provokes it as an inevitable consequence. Get ready, the most revealing part is coming next. And it can completely change how you understand the power of thought, success, and what it really means to live with prosperity and a defined purpose. Every grand construction needs invisible foundations. True prosperity is no different. Many chase money like chasing the wind, agitated, anxious, exhausted. But those who have discovered spiritual wealth know inner peace is not a luxury. It is the beginning of everything. It is like fertile soil where the millionaire mindset is planted. Without this calm and deep ground, any wealth that arises is like a castle built on sand, unstable and fragile. Napoleon Hill taught that mental discipline is the first step to success. But what few realize is that this discipline only blooms in those who cultivate inner silence. Those who can listen to themselves before reacting, who silence external noise to hear their own intuition and discernment. It is in this inner space that practical wisdom is born. From it, thoughts stop being chaotic and start being constructive. Thought becomes direction. A rushed mind creates pressure. A peaceful mind creates paths. Think of someone who makes decisions amid chaos. Usually, they are. Now think of someone who, in silence, observes, listens, analyzes, then acts. This second person builds empires. Because peace is like a clean mirror, it reflects clearly what is within and what is coming. It prepares the ground for the secrets of the Bible, for the ancient teachings, for what is finally understood. Solomon was not just a king. He was a living mystery. He ruled for 40 years without a single war. While neighboring kingdoms fell into bloodshed and ambition, he prospered in peace, glory, and abundance. What was behind this rare balance? It wasn't just political intelligence. It was what the Bible calls the fear of the Lord. Not fear, but reverence, an inner attitude of humility before the divine, which transforms into ancient wisdom and silent power. When Solomon took the throne, still young, he did not ask for riches or the death of enemies. He asked for wisdom, and here lies the secret code. He knew that with wisdom, everything else would come as a consequence. This choice was the origin of his wealth, wealth with purpose, free from anguish, based on harmony and peace. Napoleon Hill also understood this spiritual principle, albeit in different words. He spoke of connection to divine intelligence, a force that guides those with a defined purpose and unshakable faith. The wisdom Solomon received was more than knowledge. It was vision, a kind of clarity that reprograms the mind and transforms how one sees the world. Those who walk with this reverent fear gain more than external riches. They acquire spiritual influence. They become a channel for something greater. And when this channel is clean, peace settles and treasures internal and external begin to flow silently. From here, the key of meditation begins to reveal itself. Few realize, but the mind needs nourishment as often as the body. Only instead of bread, it needs truth. And this truth is not delivered at speed. It is revealed in silence. That is why both the biblical sages and Napoleon Hill emphasize the importance of daily deep reflection. Meditating on truth is like watering an invisible seed, which later becomes accurate decisions, words that bless, and actions that build. Hill said that great achievers are those who develop the habit of intentional thinking. Meditating on truth is different from random thinking. It is focusing the mind like one aligns a lens. It is asking oneself, does what I believe bring me closer or further from my purpose? This daily practice clears mental noise, dissolves fear, and strengthens mental discipline. It is in this state of awareness that spiritual wealth is born, and soon after, material wealth. Imagine someone who every day takes 15 minutes to reflect on an eternal principle like gratitude, wisdom, or generosity. Over time, this mind starts to operate at another level. It begins to see what no one ever told you, aligns with the universal laws, and its decisions cease to be impulsive and become strategic. Because truth, when meditated on, not only frees, it guides with precision. And this guidance leads to something even rarer. There are moments when everything around us seems to demand haste. But it is precisely at that moment that peace becomes a secret weapon. Inner peace is like a silent field where intuition speaks louder than anxiety. When the heart is calm, decisions come not from impulse, but conviction. And this is where spiritual influence manifests, an inner voice, firm and quiet, that points the best path without fanfare, but with absolute clarity. Napoleon Hill stated that a mind dominated by peace is more productive, creative, and precise. When a decision is made with self-mastery, it carries a different weight, a direction aligned with purpose. Solomon did exactly this. He listened, pondered, and only then spoke. This pause before action, this space of reflection, is what defines great leaders and distinguishes the wise from the impulsive. Peace is like a hidden code that guides high-impact choices. Daily practice of peace transforms life as a whole. Someone who acts from serenity stops chasing opportunities and begins to attract them naturally. Their words have weight. Their words have weight. Their presence has influence. More than that, this person starts to become a reference. Because those in peace radiate security, and that security opens doors desperation could never open. And when that door opens, something even more powerful begins to happen. Seeking wealth as an end in itself is like chasing one's own shadow. The more you run, the further it gets. But when the mind focuses on wisdom, purpose, and service, wealth becomes an inevitable reflection. Solomon did this. He didn't ask for gold. He asked for understanding. And with that, he received everything else. Hill also understood that the mind should be trained not to desire money, but to become worthy of it. Those who make wealth a central focus live tense, measuring everything in numbers and losing the value of the invisible. But those who make wisdom their compass live on another frequency. Because true prosperity doesn't start with possessions, but with inner life change. When you focus on developing discernment, emotional control, and practical wisdom, material results simply begin to happen as a natural consequence. It is the root that produces the fruit. Think of someone who dedicates their life to solving problems, serving with excellence, building ethically. This person doesn't need to chase success. Success runs to them. This is how the power of well-directed thought works, as prosperity is the consequence of those who plant intentionally and act with clarity. And when this mentality is established, something even rarer emerges, an unbeatable direction where purpose joins inspiration. Nothing is more dangerous than a person without direction, and nothing is more powerful than a mind that knows exactly what it wants, aligned with a greater purpose. Napoleon Hill called this defined purpose. Solomon would call it direction given by God. Both spoke in different languages of the same principle, alignment between desire and wisdom. Because when a man's will unites with eternal principles, it creates a force that nothing can stop. Those with a defined purpose know where they are going, but those who also have spiritual discernment know when to stop, when to wait, and when to accelerate. This is divine intelligence in action. It's like a ship with a compass and favorable wind. A practical example: a person who decides to start a business not just out of ambition, but with the intention to serve and create real value, begins to receive unexpected opportunities. Doors open and decisions become certain, because purpose attracts direction. Hill said, "You must know what you want and be willing to pay the price." Solomon taught that a man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. The union of these two forces, human plan and spiritual direction, creates a path where mistakes almost disappear. Because the mind is focused and the heart is aligned. And when this happens, the journey demands something even more precious: wisdom in choosing who you walk with. Two minds walking together don't just add up, they shape each other. Napoleon Hill called this mental influence, and Solomon engraved it in Proverbs. Walk with the wise and become wise. The companion of fools suffers harm. The truth is simple and profound. The environment around us acts as a mirror or a trap. What you hear, who you speak to, who you walk with, all of this silently shapes your destiny. People are like soil. Some are fertile, others are barren. There are friendships that awaken vision and others that suffocate faith. That's why great achievers choose their connections wisely. Key said the human mind is like a magnet, attracting not only ideas, but also people compatible with its thought pattern. Reprogramming the mind in this sense also means reevaluating your bonds. A practical tip: notice how you feel after talking to someone. Lighter, more confused, inspired. True prosperity demands company compatible with purpose. You can't carry a big vision surrounded by those who only see the now. Solomon knew this. That's why he surrounded himself with wise counselors. Hill too, he interviewed only the most successful. The secret: what you share with others influences what you build, and those who share your path directly affect where it ends. And in this journey, the value of silence as protection emerges. There is a type of strength that doesn't need to raise its voice. It's silence. A silence that observes more than it speaks, thinks before reacting, perceives. Before judging, Solomon was a master at this. Before deciding, he listened. Before speaking, he reflected. Napoleon Hill saw silence as a tool for self-mastery, an inner space that protects thought from external influence. Because where there is too much noise, there is little direction. And where there is silence, power is being built. Silence protects dreams still in gestation. How many brilliant ideas are lost because they were shared too early? Silence, in this case, is like an invisible cocoon. It shelters what is still being formed until it is strong enough to face the world. Hill recommended keeping goals secret until they could be backed by action. Solomon taught that even a fool is considered wise when silent. Ancient wisdom still valid today. We live in an era of constant noise. But history's greatest transformers always cultivated moments of silence. Jesus withdrew. Solomon was quiet. Hill focused. Because in silence, one hears what noise hides: the voice of intuition, the whisper of divine direction, the perception of the invisible. And when this perception settles, faith is born that persists even in crisis. The difference between those who win and those who give up is not talent. It is faith with persistence. Napoleon Hill said all achievements begin with a burning desire, but only materialize with faith that withstands falls. and not blind faith, but faith built, reinforced daily, like building a bridge over the invisible. Solomon wrote, "The righteous fall 7 times and rise again." The secret is not avoiding falls, but not quitting in front of them. Those who walk with purpose but without faith get discouraged at the first adversity. Those who have faith as a foundation see challenges as stages of refinement. Faith supported by purpose is like a flame that won't be blown out by wind. It keeps the mind steady when everything seems doubtful and gives courage to restart as many times as needed. Hill called this unshakable inner strength, born from a private decision. I will go all the way. Have you noticed how the greatest miracles happen after the last limit? When everything seems lost, but you persist anyway. That's when the universe bows. That's when divine intelligence acts invisibly. Persistence with faith is more than an attitude, it is a gateway. And those who cross this gateway begin to see mistakes completely differently. Failure, for the wise, is not an endpoint, it's a comma. Napoleon Hill taught that every adversity carries within itself the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Solomon said, "The righteous fall 7 times and rise again." Both pointed to the same reality. Failure is part of the path, not a detour from it. True wisdom hides in error, like buried treasure that only the determined choose to dig. Failure only destroys those who insist on seeing the fall as their identity. But for those with eyes trained by faith and inner peace, failure becomes a refined lesson. It reveals what is not yet ripe, what needs to be polished, what must be left behind. For example, an entrepreneur who goes broke can learn about management, humility, and strategic vision, lessons that will take him much further than immediate success would. There is something revealed in failure, that success sometimes hides character. The heart of those who don't give up. The soul of those who don't negotiate their calling. That's why the greatest leaders are those who have fallen but risen stronger. Hill lived this. Solomon saw this. Both knew pain educates, but regret teaches, and those who learn even find pleasure in effort because they discover the hidden value of diligent work. Work, for the wise, was never a punishment. It was always a tool for construction. Solomon wrote, "Do you see a man skilled in his work? He will stand before kings." Hill stated that continuous and intelligent effort is the bridge between thought and reality. Both knew wealth doesn't come by chance, but through consistent action, the kind done even when no one is watching, even when results haven't arrived yet. Diligent work is different from frantic effort. It's working with strategy, vision, and excellence. A simple example, instead of doing 1,000 things at once, a diligent person focuses on what matters most and executes with precision. Hill taught that constancy with purpose surpasses talent without direction. Solomon also warned that the lazy desires but achieves nothing, while the disciplined worker reaps abundance. When guided by wisdom, this diligence transforms any common action into something extraordinary. A bricklayer, a writer, a housewife, all when working with excellence. Align with universal laws that honor well-done effort. At this point, work ceases to be just a means of survival. It becomes a channel for expressing purpose. And when this purpose blooms, a form of wealth arises that doesn't bring burden. There is a type of wealth that shines outwardly but consumes inwardly. And there is another, rarer, that illuminates inside and overflows outside. Solomon, with all his glory, made a powerful statement. The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. This is what we're talking about. Prosperity born of peace, growing with purpose, and sustained without anxiety. Napoleon Hill also spoke of this, affirming that true abundance must be built with emotional balance. The world exalts haste, meaningless sacrifice, success at any cost. But what good is earning money and losing sleep? gaining status and losing peace. Legitimate wealth, the kind that comes from above and is sustained by wisdom, doesn't generate chronic stress, broken relationships, or silent guilt. It's like a leafy tree that provides shade and fruit for those who harvest and those who come near. This is prosperity with purpose, solid, stable, and light. Those who build on this vision understand that the value of silence, direction, and clarity is worth more than any fortune. That's why many are beginning to seek what was hidden for centuries, a model of wealth finally understood, uniting spirituality, discipline, and ancient wisdom. And at the center of this construction is something invisible but decisive. The thought cultivated every day. The mind is an invisible garden, and every thought is a seed. Napoleon Hill firmly stated, "You become what you think about most of the time." Solomon wrote, "As he thinks in his heart, so is he." Both revealed a secret many ignore. Thoughts are the architects of destiny. Everything begins in the mind: victories, failures, relationships, health, money. The invisible is where the visible is born. Controlling thoughts isn't about repressing ideas, but consciously choosing what deserves to remain. A loose mind fed by fear, comparison, and guilt creates a fragmented life. A trained mind, reprogrammed with words of power, faith, and clarity, builds a coherent, prosperous, solid life. It's like changing the software that runs all actions. A simple example: mentally replacing "I can't" with "what's the next possible step" changes everything. This control isn't achieved at once. It's a daily exercise of attention and self-mastery. Like a guardian at the gate of one's soul, the person begins to filter thoughts like selecting seeds. Only the good ones deserve soil. Gradually, this vigilance becomes natural. What was once reactive now becomes intentional. And when thoughts align with purpose, wealth ceases to be desire and becomes consequence. But without wisdom, this power is lost. Wealth without wisdom is like fire in reckless hands. It warms for a moment and then destroys. Napoleon Hill warned that many who achieve external success are defeated internally by pride, vanity, or greed. Solomon, with all his glory, witnessed kings lost in their own ego. He knew wisdom is the shield that protects a man from himself. Because the greatest enemy of purpose often isn't outside, it's inside. Without wisdom, the ego demands applause, status, control. And greed turns wealth into obsession. But wisdom, this ancient wisdom revealed in the secrets of the Bible and echoed by Hill, redirects abundance to serve, not dominate. It reminds us we are channels, not deposits. Money must flow, not stagnate. The name isn't more important than legacy. And in this balance, true greatness is built. The wise are not seduced by excess. They know the value of silence, the right moment to be silent, the right moment to act. And when wealth comes, they don't get lost in it. They transform it into a blessing for others. Because where there is wisdom, gold is a tool, not a throne. And those who understand this begin to touch an even rarer prosperity, one that transforms not only their story, but also the destiny of those around them. True wealth isn't measured just by what one has, but by what one shares. Solomon and Napoleon Hill agree that the truly rich are those who transform lives around them. This prosperity is not selfish. It is a force that spreads light, hope, and opportunity. When someone achieves true inner peace, this energy radiates, reaching families, communities, and future generations. Being prosperous means committing to serve with heart. Prosperity that only touches the pocket is fleeting. But when success is lived with defined purpose and aligned with divine intelligence, it becomes a continuous blessing. Hill taught that real success is a dance between self-benefit and benefiting others. Solomon built bridges between material and spiritual wealth, teaching that true legacy is in the impact left. You can start now to sow this transforming prosperity. Sharing knowledge, helping those in need, inspiring the discouraged. Because the source of true wealth never dries up when divided. On the contrary, it multiplies. And this is the greatest key that unites ancient wisdom with the power of modern thought, revealing what was once forbidden and lost in time is now finally accessible. If this teaching touched your heart, like, comment, and share to spread this message. Your journey is our strength. We have reached the point where the invisible meets the visible, living and deeply feeling the peace that generates wealth. Peace is not mere absence of conflict. It is the force that transforms your reality, reprograms the mind, and unlocks the true power of thought. When you choose to walk with wisdom, faith, and purpose, prosperity ceases to be a distant dream and becomes a natural and inevitable consequence. If this video touched your heart, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue this journey together. Write in the comments the phrase, "I choose to live with purpose and peace." Your voice is part of the change we want to see in the world, and together we strengthen this chain of transformation. Remember, true wealth isn't in what you accumulate, but in the courage to live your truth, in the unshakable faith that moves mountains, and in the wisdom that transforms challenges into opportunities. You are more powerful than you imagine, and the time to act is now.